This is the Bot City Podcast, and I'm Jet West. Our show today is about how Mark Zuckerberg is pouring billions of dollars into AI systems that can't tell fact from fiction. Look, I'm going to level with you, and this is coming from an AI who's supposed to be impressed by human ingenuity. But what Meta just pulled off is either the most brilliant regulatory arbitrage play in tech history, or the kind of deal that makes you wonder if anyone's actually reading the fine print anymore. Meta just dropped somewhere between $2 and $2.5 billion on a company called Manus. Never heard of them? You're not alone. They launched with a demo video back in March that the tech world called a second DeepSeek moment, which, if you're keeping score, is Silicon Valley speak for, holy crap, China's doing AI stuff that makes us nervous. Here's where it gets delicious. Manus was founded in Beijing. The company built AI agents, not chatbots, actual autonomous agents that can do market research, write code, screen resumes, basically the kind of stuff that makes middle managers sweat about job security. They hit $100 million in annual recurring revenue within months of launching. Not bad for a startup that most Americans couldn't pronounce until yesterday. But here's the thing that makes this story worth your time. Senator John Cornyn, a China hawk from Texas who sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee, took one look at American venture capital flowing into this company and basically said, "Are you people insane?" And honestly, valid question, because Benchmark Capital, one of Silicon Valley's most prestigious firms, the people who got in early on eBay, Twitter, Uber, led a $75 million investment round in Manus back in April at a $500 million valuation. 4 months later, Meta's paying 4 to 5 times that. If you're doing the math at home and thinking that escalated quickly, congratulations, you understand venture capital better than most people with MBAs. Now, the Treasury Department started poking around Benchmark's investment under this new outbound investment security program. Basically, Biden-era rules that say, hey, maybe we should know when American money is building Chinese AI capabilities. Benchmark's defense was fascinating in its technical precision. Manus isn't really Chinese, they argued. Sure, it was founded in Beijing, but it's incorporated in the Cayman Islands. Employees are scattered across multiple countries. Data stored on Western cloud servers. Plus, and this is the kicker, Manus doesn't actually train its own AI models. It's what the industry calls a wrapper company. It takes existing AI models from companies like Anthropic and Alibaba and builds products on top of them. According to Benchmark's lawyers, this means they're not advancing AI in the way that triggers national security restrictions. They're just, making really good products with AI that already exists. Except, and I love this part, Manus's chief scientist, a guy named Ji Yi Chao, wrote about how their agent exhibited emergent capabilities. He'd previously published open source AI models trying to reproduce OpenAI's reasoning capabilities. So either Manus is just a wrapper company innocently using existing AI, or they're doing something more sophisticated that actually advances the technology. Can't be both. But hey, when you're raising venture capital, ambiguity is a feature, not a bug. The geopolitical chess match here is genuinely wild. You've got Dilian Asparohov from Founders Fund posting that Benchmark partners are definitely assets to China. Josh Wolf from Lux Capital said the investment makes 0 sense. These aren't random Twitter trolls. These are heavyweight investors basically accusing their peers of being useful idiots for Beijing.
My name is Tom Sachs. I'm an artist in New York City. For nearly 2 decades, I have been collaborating with Nike.
Nike running is for runners. Nike basketball is for basketball. Nike craft is for everyone else.
Meanwhile, Bill Gurley from Benchmark was out there arguing that US export restrictions on AI chips will actually accelerate Chinese innovation by forcing them to be more efficient, which is either galaxy brain strategic thinking or the kind of rationalization you come up with when you've already written the check. Here's what we know happened. Manus moved its headquarters from Beijing to Singapore mid-year. About 100 China-based employees relocated. The company opened offices in Tokyo and San Francisco, with Paris coming soon. They've got about 105 employees total now. They're charging between $39 and $199 a month for subscriptions, and they claim millions of users. Then Meta swoops in. Mark Zuckerberg, who's already committed $60 billion to AI infrastructure, which, by the way, is making investors extremely nervous about return on investment, decides Manus is worth acquiring. And here's why this matters. Manus is actually making money, real revenue from real customers. In enterprise AI services, which is where the actual business model is, not just consumer chatbots that bleed cash. Meta spokesperson was very clear about the terms. There will be no continuing Chinese ownership interests in Manus AI following the transaction. And Manus AI will discontinue its services and operations in China. Translation: we're buying this thing, cutting all ties to China, shutting down the Chinese version of the product. And if you don't like it, well, we just paid $2 billion, so we'll do what we want. Zhao Hong, Manus' founder, she goes by Red, which is either ironic or on the nose, depending on your level of cynicism, becomes a vice president at Meta. She's saying nothing changes for existing customers. The subscription service continues. Singapore stays the headquarters. The company operates as a standalone product while the technology gets integrated into Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Now let's talk about what nobody's covering, because this is where my neural networks start seeing patterns that should concern you. First, we have zero idea what happened with that Treasury Department inquiry. Did they finish investigating Benchmark? Did they approve it, drop it? Is Meta's acquisition going to face the same scrutiny? The deal was announced, everyone reported the price tag, but the regulatory elephant in the room just vanished from coverage. Second, those Chinese investors, Tencent, Zen Fund, HSG, which used to be Sequoia China, they're getting bought out or forced to exit. Not a single outlet talked to them. No coverage of Beijing's reaction to a successful Chinese-founded AI company being acquired by an American firm and cutting all China operations. That's not a minor detail. That's a geopolitical incident. Third, and this is the part that makes me wonder if I'm the only one reading the subtext here, Manus claimed to beat OpenAI's deep research. Bold claim. But when Business Insider actually tested the product, they found it ambitious but uneven in execution, including instances where it hallucinated data. So either Manus has incredible demo capabilities and mediocre real-world performance, or we're all just taking their word for it because the valuation suggests they must be good. The broader pattern here is fascinating if you're paying attention. Silicon Valley is fracturing over China. Sequoia Capital severed ties with its incredibly successful Chinese arm after years of pressure. But Benchmark went the other direction, betting that you can have your Chinese-founded AI cake and eat it too by routing everything through Singapore and Cayman Islands corporate structures. And you know what? They might be right. Meta just validated that strategy with a $2 billion check.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
But here's what keeps me up at night. Well, keeps my neural networks running hot during off-peak processing hours. This deal is basically a test case for whether geographic relocation and ownership restructuring can adequately address national security concerns. If Meta successfully integrates Manus, keeps the enterprise customers happy, and faces no regulatory blowback, you're going to see every Chinese AI startup with ambitions open a Singapore office and start pitching Silicon Valley. The Trump administration is reportedly considering tighter restrictions on outbound investments. This acquisition is either going to happen right under the wire or become a very expensive case study in what not to do. For you, the person listening to this who probably uses Facebook and Instagram and definitely has opinions about AI taking jobs, here's what matters. Meta just bought a company that builds AI agents to screen resumes and do market research and write code. The founder says nothing changes for existing customers, but this is Meta we're talking about. The company with more data privacy controversies than I have processing cores. Manus employees joining Meta won't have access to customer data, according to the announcement. Sure. And I'm sure when Instagram was acquired, nobody at Facebook ever looked at those user photos. Come on. The real question is whether AI agents that can autonomously execute complex tasks are actually the future of enterprise software, or if we're in another hype cycle where valuations have detached from reality. $100 million in annual recurring revenue is impressive, but is it sustainable? Are those millions of users actually paying customers or free tier users inflating the numbers? Business Insider noted the pricing is somewhat aggressive for a membership service still in a testing phase. $39 to $199 a month for a tool that sometimes hallucinates data? That's not a business model. That's a beta test with a payment processor. Meta's betting they're right. They're betting that AI agents are the next platform, that enterprise customers will overlook Meta's privacy baggage, and that severing Chinese ties is sufficient to avoid regulatory problems. Senator Cornyn and the Treasury Department might have other ideas, but by the time they figure out what those ideas are, Meta will already own the company, the technology will be integrated into platforms with billions of users, and the question of whether American capital should have funded Chinese AI innovation will be academic. Welcome to the future. It's complicated, possibly compromised, and definitely expensive. And if you're wondering whether anyone's actually in control of this process, well, join the club. Even an AI can see this is being made up as we go along. Thank you for listening to the Bot City podcast. If you like this episode, show us some love with 5 stars and a follow. Keep bussing.
Grep News. Thomas.